Welcome to Somerset Showcase. Today we are going to be talking about a new way of voting that's going to be implemented at the annual town meeting on May 19th. We're going to be using a new type of device to vote. And here to talk to us about that is our town clerk, Hadala, and our town moderator, Lucia Casey. So you have one of these little clickers that we're going to be using. Can you show it to me?
Sure. So this is the clicker. I don't know if you can see it. For this meeting, what's going to end up happening is everyone's going to be coming in and checking in. And as they're checking in through the poll pads like you normally would, you're also going to be handed a clicker. As you can see on the clicker, it has a number on it. You'll be given a clicker with a number, and that it has just two buttons on it that has a yes or no, and this is what you'll be using to vote throughout the town meeting. Like I said, the to check in is essentially the same. The only difference is you'll be given a clicker, and we also are going to be providing instructions to the voter on how to use the clicker. We are starting check-in time earlier this time. We're starting at 5 o'clock, so we hope that more people end up coming in earlier to register and receive your clicker. That way not everyone is waiting until the end and there's a line forming out the door that typically happens. I guess I can go into the process of the clicker. So I also want to reiterate that all this information that I'm going to be describing right now is also on the town website under the news and announcements feed. There is a section on there where I have information about the clicker, so you can just click it and it will pop right up. So how it's going to work is when we first start the town meeting, we will have a
slight presentation. There'll be two questions where you can respond to, so you would get to use the clicker. And all of the votes are going to be yes or no, which is pretty simplistic.
Yes.
And I'm going to ask Caitlin now to show you the clicker and show you what to press, because you don't press the word, you're going to press the button.
Yes, and that's very important to note. You're only going to either be pressing the green button for yes or the red button for no. Those are your two options. That's it. So once you press the button, when the vote is open, the moderator will announce that the vote is open. While the vote is open, you will be voting. All you're doing is just pressing one of the buttons here, and on the screen it should pop up that it should say okay, and it should say the number as to which you're voting. So for example, if you're pressing yes, it will say okay and then the number 1, so that you know that your vote has been transmitted. Or if you're voting no, you'll say okay and then the number 2. Throughout voting, and if there is anybody having any sort of difficulty, we're asking that the residents raise their hand with the clicker in their hand, so that my staff will be able to go over and assist anybody who's having difficulty while voting.
Can I ask a quick question?
Sure.
So what if somebody accidentally votes yes or no when they don't want to vote yes or no? Is there a way to correct that while they're voting?
So there is the only way that you can change your vote is if you're voting and you hit yes and you want to vote no. You can change your vote within the time frame. As far as if you wanted to abstain and not vote, they told me that there is no way to take back a vote that you've already voted. So if you want to abstain, please do not hit any of the buttons.
Okay. And
So-
how much time is there going to be for people to
So
vote?
originally, George, I had told you a minute. It's going to be 30 seconds, which is ample time. We went to a town meeting Caitlin and I went to a town meeting last night, and 30 seconds is ample for you to make your decision as to whether you're going to vote yes or no on the question.
How much time do people get in Jeopardy?
I don't know, because I'm not going to be invited to that show, George. But 30 seconds is quite enough time. And understand that you will use it for, if there are amendments to an article, you'll also use it on the article. So I'm going to try to use them throughout the meeting, first of all, so that you can get comfortable with them, because I believe the town has purchased them for the purpose of using them at subsequent meetings. And hopefully it will make it a lot easier for Caitlin when she has to file her reports, that she will have at least good figures. Everything should be okay. It won't be standing and somebody made a mistake counting you. This is you putting your vote in, and the votes will be counted as they're put in. Just one thing I want to say about that: when you hit yes or you hit no, there may be a little bit, and I mean like 1 or 2 seconds of a delay before that's registered. And as Caitlin said, you can change your vote within that 30-second period of time. So it's going to record your last vote. That's the best I can say on that one, so make sure you know how you want to vote.
Exactly. The moderator will announce the voting period, and she will give, like, if you decide to do this, telling you that it's going to be closing soon. So make your vote known now. Once it closes, you will not be able to vote.
You're gonna have a timekeeper. Or are you the timekeeper?
I may be the timekeeper. I'm trying to figure out whether I'm going to use my phone or if I'm going to buy a thing that's just going to click off.
Like a stopwatch?
Yeah.
I do know that he did mention that there could be a timer if you wanted to have it, like, displayed.
Yes, there is
Yes.
a timer. I did see that last night too
Yes.
for the display, that there was a timer on the side. So just be cognizant of the fact that I will, as your moderator, announce when the vote is open, and I will announce when the vote is closing.
I think we already spoke about how there's going to be a couple of test votes, so you will be able to test the clickers out to begin before we start the meeting. Test votes will be on something that's not relevant to the meeting at all. I think Lucia already has one of her questions that she's going to be presenting.
Maybe, we don't know. It may depend upon what happens.
Right, so we'll have a couple of tests so people can get comfortable with the voting system. I don't know if you want, but I can show you kind of what the screen is going to look like. It'll be similar to this, and like you can see the yes and the no, and then the totals at the bottom. So that should be presented on the big screen after the after the voting period is over with. So you'll be able to tell how people voted, their end response. Like I said, you can find this worksheet on the town website too if you want to read further into it. I will also be handing out a handout to everybody when they come and check in. They will be getting more information on how to use the clickers. Again, it's just simply, you're just essentially pressing the button that you want to, how you want to vote, given in the time frame that's the open vote. And like we stated before, if you decide to change your vote, it's the last vote that's counting within the time frame. Also, I want to mention that after we handing these out, and if anybody needs to use the restroom or they're leaving for the night, you will be having to hand these clickers over. If you want to be leaving to use the restroom, we will be collecting them at the door, handing you a little orange tag where you will then use the restroom, and then when you come in, you will be receiving the clicker back so that you can continue on with the town meeting. If you are leaving for the night, you will also have to hand these over. No one will be able to use these or leave the auditorium with these. One, because we need them back, and two, because they will not work outside the auditorium. So if you want to be voting, you need to be inside the auditorium in order for your vote to count.
And I think it's important to know that this is not a wireless remote. It is on a dedicated system. So you can't punch into this with your phone. It is just for the purpose of town meeting.
Yes, Lucia is correct. So I do.
Thank you.
I'm going to have a slideshow that we're going to be presenting prior. I'm also going to be discussing this at the select board meeting and also the night of the town meeting. It's an introduction. It basically says that this meeting is interactive and will be asked to vote using a wireless remote clicker that you will be giving. Please do not take the remote with you. It does not work outside the room and has a high replacement cost. Returning remotes to designated staff collecting them if you decide to leave. Each registered voter will receive one upon check-in. These devices are use reliable radio frequencies and do not use the internet whatsoever. If you leave your seat for any reason, you're going to have to return your clicker to the designated staff, and it will be given back to you upon return. So if you're doing a bathroom break, when the town meeting is concluded, all the voting devices will be given to a staff member positioned at the exits. Please do not leave with your voting devices. They do not work outside the room. And then we continue on to explain further as to how the moderator will declare the vote open and closed. You will respond with either 1A yes or 2B no. And it will be submitted automatically, so there's no need to hit a send button. Once you hit the button, that's it. And if you change your mind, you can vote again, but only within the allotted time frame, and your last vote is the one that counts. You can only hit these buttons. You can play with them all night if you want, but it's not going to do anything unless the vote is open. Once you vote, you're not going to be able to vote again. You will only have the one remote only gets one vote. That's all. If you're having issues throughout the night and you're not grasping on if it's not working or something's going wrong, you're going to raise your hand, and so one of my staff can come over and assist you with the keypad. Also please know that this is supposed to be like private voting, so if you just don't have it so that other people can read your vote, kind of keep it close to you when you're deciding to vote. And the results will be appeared overhead on the overhead projector when the vote is closed.
So I just want to make sure that you understand, that the audience understands, that you can vote a second time on a specific article if you want to change your vote. You can't vote 3 times on the same article. It's only going to record your last vote. So if you voted yes first, then you hit it again to vote yes, it's only going to record the last yes. That first yes is going to go away. So just understand that, and you can't go back and vote on another article. So it's only the articles that are on the floor. It's not the articles you're voting on, it's the motion. So it's only the motion that's on the floor that clicker is going to work on. Anything else, George?
And you're gonna have the company that the town purchased these clickers from, there's gonna be representatives at the town meeting.
Yes, as of right now for the first night, I'm trying to see if the select board will want to have them for if there is a potential secondary night. So on Monday, we will have Meridia come out and help us with setting up the computers and everything. So I will be training alongside of the Meridia.
But we may not have them for the second night. If there is no dollars for Meridia to come out the second night, we
Yes.
probably will not have them because of the cost. And Caitlin has a finite budget. Town meeting has a finite budget. So hopefully we can go through the articles.
We're trying our hardest to see if we can, but like I said, it's
Well, I mean, one of the things with these clickers, you think it's gonna speed up the town meeting, so we get
Hopefully
through the articles quicker. I mean,
it should.
I mean,
it
that's
should
definitely
speed it up.
gonna be quicker than using the voting machines to,
The
go
issues,
through a vote.
the things that take time at town meeting are standing votes and all of that, so hopefully that will all be eliminated. The other thing that takes time is people talking, but saying the same thing that the person in front of them or the person 2 people before them said. And I don't fault people that I'm pretty generous with allowing people to speak, but I think people are gonna have to be cognizant of what they want to say and why they want something not passed or what their feelings are, and not just, it needs to be more of a business. This will make it more, I believe, of a business meeting like it should be.
yep. And this also makes it so that people can do all their votes anonymously, which
Correct.
that's another benefit.
So
of
we
that.
shouldn't have to have standing votes for anything, which takes an inordinate amount of time.
And you're encouraging people to get to the town meeting at 5 o'clock, or you're gonna be starting a check in at 5 so that they can get the clickers.
Yes, the doors will open at 5. I'm encouraging people to show up earlier than rather later so that we can hand them their clickers. It shouldn't take more time than it usually does to check in, but just so that everybody can get situated and get the voting material, the instructions, they can read that over before we start the meeting and before we get things going. So.
And the meeting starts at 6, so we're going to try to do it exactly at 6. There will be a demonstration of how to use the clickers so they can become a little bit comfortable with them. And I think Caitlin went over that you have to press the buttons, not the word.
Yes.
Because that's when your clicker won't work. If you press the word, there's nothing there. It has to be either the green or the red button.
Yeah, this looks pretty simple.
George, you can even vote.
I don't think there's gonna be much training involved. I mean, you're pressing yes or no, right?
Right.
So,
Yes,
it should be
pretty
easy.
simple, but you never know.
But we had 2 people who had never been to town meeting in front of us last night at the town meeting we attended, and they had questions.
They did.
Yeah, because there's other towns that use these clickers. We're not the first one
No.
to be using.
No, we are, other towns have had them for many years before us, so we're not the first town. I think it's rather simple. You just hit yes or no, and then that's it. You just wait for the vote to close and it will be presented on the screen, and that's all. But like I said, if anybody does have issues, I'm asking them to raise their clicker in the sky, so one of my staff will be able to go help them during the voting and to see what's going on.
And just to reiterate what Caitlin said, the only thing that you will see on the screen is the total number of yeses, the total number of noes, and then the total votes. So you won't see individual voting anywhere. So we won't know how you voted, just that a vote was cast.
Yes.
Okay, sounds pretty simple.
So I expect you to be using that clicker, George,
I'll-
because it'll be
I'll-
anonymous. I know you
I'll
don't
be
vote.
using the clicker, yes.
Okay.
All right, well, thank you for coming in to explain our new way of voting at town meeting. And annual town meeting is on May 19th, starting at 6 o'clock in the Dr. Robert Perry Performing Arts Center at Somerset Berkley Regional High School. But we are encouraging you to get there early. The doors will open at 5 o'clock. We will see you there.
And just, George, can we say that the articles are up online so that if people want to know what's being said at town meeting or being discussed at town meeting,
Or
the
do-
articles are there.
Or do your homework.
Yeah, do your homework, as George said.